Welcome to the 180 podcast. So much to talk about, but let's start off with the big fella over here. It's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Boys. Thank you.
What are you, 45?
The big 4-3, bud.
Oh,
43.
43.
You've aged really well.
Yeah, well, after the weekend, I feel like I've aged about 20 years, but yeah.
Oh, we're back here again.
No, don't go there.
We're at
I've
the
just had a big
AA
event.
meeting again.
No, none of that, mate.
Oh, hang on. What do you mean none of that?
Well,
What's
it was
happening?
just very busy. You know, I was up there for the
You're very busy. Oh, they'll fucking do
Surf
me.
Festival. We took out the win in the surf comp, led by
Nice.
Mick Fanning. Yeah, won a surfboard.
Did
Beautiful surfboard, actually.
Yeah.
So I'll be.
How did you surf? I know
I was
you're
pretty
real
nervous actually because we had obviously they do the whole lineup and then you got to choose who catches the first wave and lo and behold they said Reni, you got to catch the first one. Waves weren't great. Got to my feet and that was the main thing. So
Nice.
I got us off to a good start.
Well done, mate. Blues are on fire at the moment. Any bullet dealers up there or what?
There was plenty of bullet dealers, mate, but I was well behaved.
Any
Did you find love?
Did you find a wife or?
No, mate.
No.
Just
That could be a new segment for us. Reni wants a wife.
Yeah, I reckon you'd be good on The Bachelor.
hey,
actually.
don't worry about me, mate. Don't worry about me.
Bachelor, maths, something like that. If you're watching out there.
They've reached out to me before, actually, but no, I won't be going there. It's something you do.
No, I knocked it back actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Could you imagine, they do the big dinner on the drink of that? Reni can't come back for next episode.
Yeah.
You and maths. You'd be going for your.
I don't mind
You'd be going
maths.
for the
It's
hat
quite
trick.
entertaining. Yeah. Third time lucky, huh?
Third time.
Third
lucky.
time lucky.
Fucking please. All right, let's talk some footy. And we'll talk all things Origin. We'll start off with it. The big news out of Origin camp. We had spoke to Billy last night, actually. He dropped DCE. We spoke about it last week. Thoughts on this?
Not really surprised. We spoke last week how well did when he came on the field, and I think this is probably for the dynamic of the side. It gives Munster more responsibility. He'll be more on the ball. I think he'll take over as more of a halves role, even though I can't see Dearden really steering the team around as much as a Munster. So, I like the selection. And, and as I said, I think Munster gets far more responsibility in this game.
Yeah, and Billy gave him the captaincy, Cameron, so
Unreal.
that's I spoke to him yesterday. It was a huge honour for him. I know that. It means more than what people would actually know, with Cam. So you talk about responsibility and leading the team and being more dominant with that C next to his name. He'd die for Queensland, so it means a lot to him. And he's missed out on the captaincy in Melbourne when that was handed over. They took a while in Melbourne to put him in the leadership group because of his actions over the years.
Yeah.
And, he thought he'd sort of earned the right at least the last 3 or 4 years. So to see him rewarded for the sacrifices he's made, he's a family man now. He's come a long way in his career. I mean, he's proven now that, if he can make mistakes and bounce back from them in life, not just in footy, So pretty inspirational stuff. I think, it's just a handing over the baton. Everyone's got to retire at some point. Everyone's going to get dropped at some point. He's had a great run, DCE, and he's been amazing for Queensland. He's 36, and they gave him first game. That was a show of loyalty. They gave him game one when they made which he deserved.
Yeah.
But obviously New South Wales and the journos are making a big deal out of it because that's what we do at Origin time. But when you peel all the bullshit back, it's not a big deal. Dearden's come in. He's in great form, has been. I think he got player of the series for Queensland last year.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah. And he won when Cameron was out for game 3 when he had COVID back a few years ago. So he's proven. And he's a constant threat. I talked last week about halves and Sexton and that. You look at Dearden, he is a threat all the time because he's a runner. He'll still have, you say he probably won't be the organiser, but I think he has to because in game 1, Cameron tried to do too much and he went away from his own style and he openly admits that. So Cameron was throwing passes and trying to create opportunities instead of just that running game that we know Cameron is so dangerous at. And that's when and Origin's about running as a half, and he's a big body, he's strong. It's hard to get down Cameron. Yep. So I think if they can find that balance and complement each other, that they'll be quite lethal. But, everyone's talking about the halves, but, mate, their forward pack was shit in game 1. And we talk about possession and field position in Origin and kicking game and why that's so important. Correct. The forwards lay the platform. And if they don't, these two doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who comes in there. Yeah, correct. Yeah. How do you feel about some of their selections in the forwards?
Yeah, Catewell, he's been playing great for the Warriors. Yeah. He played great in the centres, a few times when he's had the field. He's done the job there before. They had to change something up there. Cotter moving out of that back row position, we said it wasn't the right call. They got that wrong in game one, and they paid the price for it. It's not a big change. They've just got to change their attitude in the way they play and their commitment, their desire, and their enthusiasm. And they missed the jump up at Suncorp. Trent Liero's got to prove himself.
Yep.
I think he's not one that you look at and is intimidating. At clubland, let alone at Origin. So he's and Gordon Tallis, like Queensland great, who I work with, obviously said last night that they've always had smaller teams that have just played above their weight over the years, and that's how they got to win this one. They don't have the Payne Haas's and even Utoi Kamanu who they bring in as a monster. They don't have that style of player really. Tino, yes, but apart from Tino, Fab Monawaker and the likes, so they've just got to provide a Queensland style performance to win, or back against the wall against all odds.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Papali'i come in.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I reckon Billy might have give him the call. He might have knocked it back, but just he's very he's analytical, right, Billy? So he's probably like checking all the stats numbers, and off the ball and all that. But sometimes you just need to go by the eye test, and just having his presence on the field, I think, could have given Queensland forwards a bit more of a boost. But having said that, Billy could have gave him the call. It would have just been nice to see him in that pack.
Yeah. Do you go with Horsburgh or not?
Yeah. He's not going to take a backward step, right?
You're not too.
I don't see the intimidation factor. Yeah, he won't take a backward step, but he ain't bending the line all the time. He gives he's got good footwork. He's got a bit of skill.
An offload.
Yeah.
Second phase. A bit something different.
Something different. Yeah. I think he will come in.
Okay.
What about Harry Grant? I saw a stat that he's lost last 6 games he's played.
Yeah. His last 4 games he's started at Origin, they've lost, and he's won 6 from 8 off the bench. So his record's crazy better when he starts off the bench. We've been critical of Harry, but he's a great player, and I think Billy would have had a strong word, and I can see that he has, because he went and played 80 minutes for Melbourne on the weekend and was very vocal after the game in an interview saying that he really wanted to play the 80 minutes. He wanted to play it at high quality. And Cameron did the same thing. You could tell Cameron just ran all game on the weekend. So they've been given strict instructions, I reckon, from Billy of how to go back to club and then bring it back for game 2. So, and again, with the interview with Billy last night, Gordy asked him the question around that, and he said, no, we'll be sticking with him at 9. So I don't think it's going to – I think he'll start. If they did change the options they've got at Kurt Mann, and, they could even bring Ezra in. I don't know, which I'll get to soon. But so I think the big thing with Queensland is, yes, you need change, but you've also got to be loyal in some degree and really hand it over to the players and go, it's up to you now. It's on you. You're doing it for your state. This isn't about me and my selections. I'm going to trust you, and you've got to repay that trust. And I think that's what he would have done with Harry. It's like, mate, very unlike Harry to play the way that he did. But the stats don't lie. I mean, he's way more effective off the bench, has been. Can he change that?
And that's probably because he likes to run the ball. Really, it's far more effective to do that in the second half of a half than it is.
He just needs to be a provider for the first 20 minutes, and then when he takes his opportunities, when there's a little bit more fatigue in the game. But Kurt Mann, I think he's a must inclusion for Queensland. His footwork around the ruck, his deception, he's got good tackle tech, quick play of the balls. I thought he was fantastic against Paris.
Yeah, he was. Even that last try when he did, like you said, that footwork back on the inside and passed it to Hayes for the try.
Yep.
Very good.
You can see he's going to be the Connor Watson for them. They played a similar style.
Yeah, he'll be playing 13 for sure. Yeah, he won't be coming on as a 9. But
they could use him as a 9 if they needed to.
Yeah.
I think he's played a little bit off the bench as a utility 9 back at Newcastle, maybe. I had a look at when I was doing some numbers for 360 a couple of weeks ago.
He started as a 6, didn't he, in Melbourne?
He's not a 6, that's for sure.
No.
But yeah, he can play there. Like if he had,
I think that's where he started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now a bit of controversy over this. Not sure if it's been overplayed or, they've gone over the top with it or not. I'd love to get your opinion on it. Ezra Mam being called in to the extended team has got a lot of people off. A lot saying that Queensland shouldn't have picked him. A lot saying that the NRL stuffed up with their original penalty of him with that big, shocking incident in the off season. How do you guys see it?
Look, the Queensland court system let the family down that he crashed into. The NRL let the family down that he crashed into. Right? He's served his time. What more do you want the kid to do? Or what more do you want Queensland to do? We can't just keep punishing someone that's served their time. And he shouldn't have played for the rest of the year. If it was my decision, if I was in the NRL, I would have said, you're barred for 12 months.
Have to.
For 12 months. But, what more can you do?
Yeah, but that's what they're saying. So it's not Ezra's fault. This is not Ezra's fault. Being selected, not Ezra's fault. But what they're saying is it's actually the NRL's fault for he shouldn't be playing this year. And then Queensland, to a degree, had the opportunity. They picked him. They could have said, you know what? And this, I look at all this. They could have easily said, you know what? Like he's getting booed every time he touches it. He's obviously going through a lot because he's come out and and I'll get to this too soon. His response to the booing wasn't the right response. So there's a lot going on for him. He knows, everyone knows the speculation around it. It's visible in the reaction of fans and people in and around our game. Why put him in this situation? Why kind of put the focus on him if he's not going to play anyway? If he's going to be just in the extended squad, why? Is it unnecessary? Look at the attention it's drawn. Yeah. Queensland have lost game 1-2. Do they really need this? Would it have been a smarter move to just leave him out for a year and bring him back next year?
Fair point.
You know what I mean? That's
point.
how I look at it.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I think the NRL and NRL got it wrong with their suspension, horribly wrong. Yeah. And they probably regret that.
So did the Queensland court system.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
But because this is how good our game is, and they interviewed the Uber driver. It's not funny, but I trained at 5 this morning, and I'm in the car, and I was a bit early, so I'm looking through socials and that. And the Uber driver's interviewed on Channel 7. It's like, oh Jesus, it's already bad enough. They're pulling the Uber driver back out. Shouldn't laugh, but it's, but he made some valid points. He said that in the apology from Ezra, he didn't feel it was genuine, but he also said, we're trying to set an example to kids and to the game, and whether you like it or not, and this is something we've had to deal with over our time, you are role models, and he did the wrong thing. It's not his fault again, but it's highlighting this incident again, and it's really not a good look for the game. So I think if the NRL and Queensland and everyone got together, they probably prefer that. I would have thought they would have preferred to leave him out unless he's playing, which again, it's like maybe they're thinking about playing him.
Wow. Of course they
or else why would you name him?
He's too dangerous. Just from his rugby league ability alone, you got to have him in the team.
If you look at that squad, you'd want him in the team.
Yeah.
So who does he replace though?
Well, that's beside the point. He has he's a great footballer, but at the end of the day, he shouldn't be playing our game.
Oh, I agree.
But what more can Ezra do?
I'm not blaming him for it, but the NRL.
I'll tell you where he stuffed himself up, and was when he was getting booed, and he did an interview, and he said that everyone was booing him because of his strong stance on racism against Lenya.
Stop with the fucking race card, Ezra. Just cut that shit out, bro.
Can you imagine the fans? The fans are going, hang on, mate. No.
Honestly.
We're booing you because you were off your chops and you nearly killed a young girl. We're not booing you because you took a strong stance against the racism call.
I won't stand for shut the fuck up with the whole race thing, right, mate?
See how angry you are now?
Yeah.
That's what the fans are feeling.
Okay.
That's I'm just putting into reality. So that's why everyone's still angry about it, because he kind of didn't own it.
He's not taking ownership.
Yeah.
Man up.
Yeah.
If he took the ownership, I think people would start to Like, is
you know what? Say nothing.
Say nothing. Yeah.
You know, you kind of, he's lucky to be playing.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks that everyone's booing you. Like, it sucks and it would feel bad.
Yeah.
But you got to understand why, mate.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't understand why, then you haven't learnt your lesson.
Yeah, correct.
Like, you know, like.
Couldn't agree more.
Anyway, I think it'd be like it's kind of watch this space with this and to see what happens with Queensland, who comes into the squad if they don't bring any of those ones we just spoke about in, and they just need to be out there. Like if it gets into a grind this game, they're a big chance. But if it doesn't, they could lose by a lot. I'm not going to say that on 360 because I don't want to feed the Queensland, underdog tag.
I just can't see how they win.
Yeah.
You can't.
You look at that New South Wales squad. I just can't see it.
And have a look at it, right? Zach Lomax, Stephen Crichton, Mitch Moses, Cleary, Payne Haas. They are superstars, right? And Latrell Mitchell. And they're all in form.
Yeah.
And they're all beasts. They're not like playing above their weight. These guys are 6'4", over 100 kilos and fast and powerful. Like then, it's a mismatch if you actually line all the players up on both teams, which is a lot for Origin.
Yeah.
But in this instance, it's too early to talk about dynasties and stuff. But they've got an opportunity in New South Wales to create one.
Anything less than a clean sweep would be disappointing for New South Wales.
When you look at it, though, we still only won game one by 12 points.
Yeah.
I know we missed those kicks. And
we played shit too.
Exactly.
Yeah, we played shit and they played shitter.
Yeah.
Which means that both teams are going to improve, but where do we land at the end of that, That's why it's going to be fascinating to watch. All right, let's move on from Origin and we'll talk some Dogs again because it's the talk of the town still, right? Like, Lockie Galvin got his first shot in the Bulldogs jersey, come off the field with about 20 to go, wasn't it? It was about 20, and was great.
He was good.
It was great. So it was a perfect really start, good. Right? What do you think, Red?
Mate, his first touch, dug into the line, short ball, and then he's the ability to reload and start organising. He didn't look lost at all. And from all reports, he didn't know he was going to play half, right? And then his next couple of carries, just dig right into the line, pass, real hard, sharp pass to kind of Tracy at the back. He just looked comfortable in that jersey straight away. What a debut after everything that he's gone through, which was brought on by himself and his management.
Yeah.
I think it was a sigh of relief for everyone involved because there was pressure on the Dogs for making the call to get him there to possibly destabilise the year, or there was pressure on Serrato, there was pressure on the club, and then for him to come out, there was pressure on him to deliver.
Yep.
And it's only one game, and Parramatta are second last.
They fought hard though.
Parramatta are on the rise too. We've talked them up on this body. Yeah. Like we're a fan of what's going on there.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to play that down by any means, but I think he delivered, and what worked was him coming on and moving key positions. It didn't seem to actually improve them. They were in a wrestle, and then he just the class of him. I mean, Burton played his best game of the year, so don't overlook that either. But it shows. But now it's like, well, what happens next?
I Sexton at 9 was great. Like his ability to get out from dummy half and his deception, and I just thought he showed a bit more creativity than Reed had.
Reed wasn't happy.
No, he wasn't.
Well, we already know that Reed looks like he's on the outer, or is on the outer.
Yeah, but again, like I don't want to be the pessimist here because I love it and I want them to win the comp. I do. And I think they can.
Yeah.
But I like to look at things from everyone's perspective.
Yeah, of course.
I believe from every angle. And a few Bulldogs fans had the shits to me last night because I pointed out the possibility or what Reed and Sexton would be feeling. Everyone's overlooked that because of the glory of the win and it's exciting. And I don't want anyone I want everyone to focus on the positive, but it's hard not for me not being an ex-player and being in situations that are so similar to these two to watch it and not feel for them. I'd be lying if I sat even last night or sat here now and said I don't know how I didn't know how Reed was feeling right now, or possibly Sexton.
Yeah.
Like, Reed, he was filthy. He went off. You could see him in the sheds. They've just won the game by a long way. The fans are going mad. There's 50,000. You'd think everyone would be happy in the team. He wasn't, right? But put yourself in his shoes.
Yep.
He's been there from the start of this comeback, from 2 years now, of when they were, in the shit house, now and they're in the penthouse. But he's been that whole journey. He's been there. He's been a leader in that period. And they're coming first, and then all of a sudden they bring a shiny new toy, from a different club.
Yep.
And bang, he could miss out. Now, if they go on and win a comp, and you're Reed Mahoney, and you've put all that work in, you've sacrificed family, friends, time, your livelihood, and then all of a sudden, thanks for your time, mate. Now we're going to reach the top. You're not there. It's rugby league. I get it. It's elite sport. Yep. But how can you overlook that poor bloke and how he's feeling right now?
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, Braith, it's team first.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that, man.
And for Reed, the only advice I could give him is just keep your head down and keep working, because injuries happen.
That's right.
And you can still get your opportunity. And who knows? Galvin might start having a shocker in the next few weeks.
Of course.
So, but it sucks, Braith.
It does suck,
I
doesn't
get
it?
it.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks.
You and I did speak on the way home after last episode, and I said to you, even though I think I was one of the first to say I think Dogs can win the comp, and then I started to have question marks a little bit, like, is this as good as they could go? Because like they'd beat the Roosters just, they're beating teams kind of just, and we kind of agreed that they didn't have a second gear or a third gear or fourth gear. Where
I think, and the Dogs have realised that.
They realised that, and they've now, like, you look at what's happened. Galvin, I know it's only one game, but it now looks that there's a dynamic of they could start to find more.
Yeah, we'll find that out.
Well, but for 60 minutes of that game, he came on with 23 minutes to go. It was an arm wrestle. They completely just put a stranglehold around him. They completed well over 90%, but they couldn't score points, right?
Yeah.
Galvin comes on, they get the points. They score another 2 tries.
And it come from what we've spoken about. Off the cuff, playing what's in front of him, a little bit of footy, support back on the inside. Like, they're just things that happen when you're that. You create your own luck. He's one of those players that he's on the ball. Yep. He's on the ball. He's on the ball. Did
you see when he scored that try? He was setting up for the next play.
He
realised that he needed a support. And that's that small difference that they need.
It is.
It's blokes that are just still playing every play.
The Sexton to 9, I appreciate what you're saying, and I think it was great too. But again, last 25 minutes of the game against Parramatta, they'd had all the possession then. He's got freedom. He's not defending the first 10 or 20 minutes of a game. Yeah. He's not, so there's still a question mark over that.
Of course.
But Bailey could be the man for that. I think it's, before I get your take on it, I think Bailey will end up at 9 and Galvin will be at 7, which is what we first said.
I think that was the plan all along.
Yeah.
Once they started talking about moving Reed on, I think I know Ciro has massive raps on Hayward. So he was always going to end up in the starting lineup somewhere, and it was obviously going to be 9.
Well, Hayward will just end up at 14. And then Reed could start 9, and then Sexton's the 4 guy. I think Sexton's the one that's going to miss out. I actually think Sexton, within a month, will be gone.
Gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm looking at it now, this is my prediction, but I heard that a couple of weeks ago. Hayward, they got a big rap on, can play a number of positions. Better off defending in the middle, more so than Sexton. You're not going to drop Reed completely, I don't think, for a new 9 at this time of the season. I'd start with Reed, and then you've got Galvin and Burton in the halves, and you bring Hayward off the bench. Sexton, as bad as it is, because I don't believe it should be that way, I think that's where it's going to land.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to start with Hayward, are they? And have Sexton move from 7?
No, I'm saying Hayward for next year. Moving forward, they want him as a starter.
Yeah, but what do you reckon?
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
They'll keep Reed. I think it's Sexton's the full guy. Yeah, for sure.
They've got lucky a bit this week. Not lucky, but the Dogs haven't had to make a real tough call because Burton's the 18th man for Origin, which I think is a joke. Like,
congratulations.
He's been 18th man 1,000 times. They don't have him to play. He was their best player last week.
I'd knock it back. Honestly, I'd say, no, I want to play for my club.
Yeah.
All right. If you want me in, either pick me or don't pick me as 18th man.
Get 30K though.
Sorry?
30K game.
He gets 30K.
You get 30K. You're not going to.
I didn't get fucking paid when I was 18th man.
Yeah, no, you'd have to now. You're not going to go into a camp. Listen, I can't confirm that, but I'd be almost certain. You can't go into a camp as 18th man full week and not get the same amount of money.
I went into a camp, I got fuck all.
Yeah, but
You got a jersey.
All you did was fucking bag me before the warm up. Fucking Origin game, doing high knees and looking like he's fucking Rocky Balboa about to fight. And
oh my God, how funny was that?
yeah, funny for you, fucking hell.
You were laughing.
Oh, how could I not? Oh yeah, yeah. Like it's kind of like it's a crazy storyline that's unfolded mid-season. But all eyes are going to be on it, right? The next month.
Definitely disrupted the
Well, we
squad.
We get to see that halves combination what we said of seeing how they could play.
Yeah.
And how that works.
Yeah, that's true. What we said last week.
Sweet.
It will be good to see who they playing this week.
South without Trell.
Your team.
All
Old two teeth.
on.
Who?
Old 2 teeth Rabbitohs.
My team.
You were into them last week.
Yeah, you
What
were.
do you mean?
When we were talking about the stadium.
Yeah, there's dress regulations. There's
Teeth
you
regulation.
must have
regulations.
You can't miss more than 2 teeth. So they can't go to Allianz. Reggie the Rabbit's even gone. He can't even get in.
You can't.
Charlie.
I'm staying out of this.
No, he's got, Charlie can stay
Did
away
he do
from-
his time for bashing that kid?
No, but
Did
Did he win that fight? Did he win that fight with the 6-year-old at Cronulla, or who won it?
I think they took it outside and he got flogged.
Oh, he lost on points.
He lost it too.
He lost it.
No, he had none.
He lost his 2 front teeth.
Oh, not even needed a mouth guard.
Oh, that was good.
All right, let's move on from the doggies. Let's have a quick touch on some coaches maybe that are under pressure at the moment. A few that come to mind: Adam O'Brien and that situation in Newcastle, which we've spoken about on here before with his poker machines.
He's got the link.
Yeah, he didn't take the link apparently because he's still there. But in all seriousness, like he's a good fella, Adam, and we had a laugh over that. But hope we didn't offend anyone. But it was just a bit of a G up. Seibold's been he's quite the
He's gone on the radar a bit, hasn't he?
he always
with the
does.
pressure.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the word that describes him, but he mixed opinions are in the rugby league world about him. He seems like a very intelligent, nice guy, but very intelligent. He's based his coaching model a lot off American sports, and he spent a lot of time over there. And he's been to uni, I think, and even some colleges over in the States. But they've been horribly inconsistent. We've said it I think we said it from the first 2 weeks. Like, and nothing's changed. And then maybe even Benji. Benji's a fascinating one for me. Let's start with Adam O'Brien. What do you reckon?
They were
can't say.
diabolical that first half.
Well, you messaged me at halftime and said they're the worst team in the comp by a long way. Then they won the game.
And then they won the game. And then Manly don't turn up the second half. I thought that they're the 2 worst teams in the comp. I just could not believe what I was watching. They were horrible. They got booed off the field at halftime, and they deserved it. But they were just, I just could not believe they came back and won the second half. But with Adam O'Brien, the thing that got under my skin is they got the win, and he had a go at the fans. And I thought, mate, did you see how bad your team were for the first 40 minutes?
Yeah.
You don't have a right to start bagging your fans. He came out and apologised and went into damage control, but they have got massive problems.
Yeah.
Huge problems.
They got Jackson Hastings in this week, which is interesting.
Jacko's back.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, they're just that team that. Yeah, I think they need a big change. You know, they need probably. They're in the process of trying to make change with recruitment there. I know when Peter Sullivan got brought in from the Dolphins, their salary cap was in a horrible mess. They were paying overs for too many players there.
Yeah.
And he's trying to restructure that. So they've got to make some big calls, but I mean, they've just signed Brown on 1.3, 1.4.
Yeah. And I'm starting to regret
supporting
him.
He was nowhere against the Dogs.
Nowhere.
I didn't even know he was out there.
Nowhere.
Or did he play?
Like, you know, like how do you defend that, or how do you say that's a good signing? Like, it's. I don't even think Kalen will stay there. I've said it so many times. I think Kalen he'll be getting so over it, and you know, unfortunately for Adam, he's kind of been okay there, and they've made finals and all that. But I think you need to see more. And I don't know if he's the man for the job. I'm not saying sack him, but I think he's under extreme pressure, and they want to attract players there. And at the moment, I don't know if they are.
Yeah.
With the the way they're playing and probably the results and the coach. But I thought his reaction was it wasn't great. I understand his reaction to the fans booing and what he said because he's probably trying to protect his players, but it was just a kind of immature and unprofessional way of like if you know what rugby league's all about and you know how much the fans mean to your club and especially Newcastle. If you know all that and you're all over that and you're aware of that, you wouldn't make those comments.
No.
It was it's sort of one where it was a comment made by someone who not only didn't read the room but probably isn't entirely understands the history of the club and what the fans do and how much. Mate, when they're going shit, Newcastle, they're still all there.
They still turn up.
Yeah.
You watch games and you go, wow, if that was any other team, there's no way, they're getting that many fans. And, so it wasn't good for him, but he owned it, and I rate that. Like, he come out and owned it, which he probably had to. And it didn't help that Matty Johns picked up, because Matty John's show picks up after that game on a Sunday. And Matty just went bang over the top, which Matty was right. And that would have just sort of added fuel to the fire.
Yeah,
but,
right.
He's a premiership winner, Newcastle through and through, and he's just gone, hang on, mate. Like, bang, straight after the game. What was that? Like, he's watching the press conference.
Okay.
And he's picked, and that's when it got
even
momentum.
before I heard him say the apology, I watched the presser and I thought, hang on a minute, mate. You've had, one win and it was that young kid that ignited their comeback.
Yeah.
But they were just diabolical. They've been diabolical for weeks. Like, they're in shambles. They need a 9.
I want to throw to, what about Shane Flanagan? Is there any pressure for him?
Good point you make.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, I miss Shane. Of course he is. But, he's under more pressure because his son's the halfback. Like, and
he seems to stick with him like glue.
Mate, they've lost by 50.
What other options do they have other than Lockie?
Lockie, but this is the thing.
How's Lockie going in reserve
He's killing it in reserve grade. The reserve grade is coming first. Lockie's done everything that he asked of him. And, in defence of Lockie, he had a serious leg injury. He's come back, and they gave him a shot. Didn't quite nail it, right? We can all admit that, which is fine. And they brought King Tonga in. Now, King Tonga has been really good. He's not been great, but he's been really good for his age and the opportunity he's got on the side that he's in. I think he's got some X factor. He's been a bit of a live wire. He looks like he's going to create, which is what they need.
Yep.
Then they've moved Kyle to half. Now, he's not a half. He's not a half, and they kind of just. Well, I don't know if he's not a half, but he's probably better at 6. And anyway, they still kept him in 6 for the first game, even though he's playing 7. Just to disguise that. But, in any other situation like this, Lockie's a genuine 7. And I actually would love to see Lockie and King Tonga partner up. I'd love to see it.
Be far away.
Well, this is the thing. So I actually think if this week, Cronulla, who are out of form, if they beat the Dragons and he doesn't pick Lockie, it'll be, well, why'd you buy him for? And then what are you doing? Like, how long are you going to stick with Kyle there? If you're happy to drop others, for certain reasons, then how could you, whether it's your son or not, he's actually, it's a tough position for him to be in because often I'll read comments just to get a feel of what the general consensus is saying. And the Dragons fans after that game were like, mate, your son this, your son that, your son. It was all about him and his son. So it's one to keep an eye on. If they lose this week against Cronulla, does he drop his son? Does he drop his son or does he keep him there? Like,
it must be an awkward feeling to have as well.
But he
signed up for it.
Yeah, of course. I know that, 100%.
Yeah. And, he's been saying Kyle's been their best performer for a couple of years now and stuff. Like, he doesn't hide from it either. Yeah. I think he actually believes that.
Yeah.
And Kyle has been good at times, and I'm not shitting on Kyle, but I think it's going to really put the spotlight on. Yeah, you talk about pressure. Yeah. Mate, they lose this week, and especially the way they played last week. What do you do, Shane? And that's going to really come under the microscope.
All right. I've got one more, and this it probably, you'd think it sounds stupid because they're sitting 5th, but the Sharks, and I love Fitzy. I'm a huge fan of Fitzy.
Mm.
They don't win big games. They beat every shit team. They can't beat a top 4 team.
For years now.
For years.
Yeah,
and
for
they make
years
the semis. They might win game 1 and then they're
This
gone.
is going
Yeah.
on 3 years
So, like,
now.
It ain't going to change this year either.
Like 100%.
and a lot of that's on Hines, right? You know, he's on 1 point. What did he sign a long deal? He signed $1 million 10-year. Was it a 10-year deal or something like that? Or I'm like, nah.
Talking
6,
about
7.
pressure, he's someone that hates pressure.
Yeah.
He looks
beat-
frantic in the face.
Origami.
You feel bad being critical of him because everyone gets the shits when you get like.
I don't feel bad at all.
I neither do I, but anyway.
Fucking hell, you're on that big money.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like pressure.
Hates it.
He's a very timid guy, and that comes across.
And you can't be a timid half.
No way.
You got to know what you signed up for
Yeah.
in our game.
Yeah.
You know, the quicker you realise that and understand the responsibilities that come of it and the speculation that's going to come, you've got to be thick-skinned. And if you're not, you don't last.
Can he sit in the sauna? Because as soon as the heat goes on, he just straight out. Just,
One of your best online, is that one? Is Benji under pressure?
Bench?
Oh.
I don't think I personally don't think he is. I think
he's loved in the media. I don't know if that's
not so
important.
much love.
I know.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You know more than me, Braith.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he's under pressure? I didn't see this one.
Remember when it all went down and we said, you know, everyone's sort of taking their eyes off the impact it's going to have on Benji Galvin going.
Yeah.
You know, like the disruption they've had.
Mm.
Galvin, the key player, going. Who are they going to bring in? How are they going to play the rest of the year? And as much as they've been much better in competing in games, they're still losing. I think he's under pressure because Benji's never really proven himself as a coach. He's got thrown in.
What was the pass mark for Benji this year?
Edge of the 8? No?
Yeah, of course.
edge of the
Where
eight.
are they coming?
sitting? I thought they were good against Penrith.
They're 14.
at
So
stages.
it's a weird one. Like you
You've
can't.
got about fucking.
They're 2 points off last and 2 points off 6.
But that's what I'm saying is if they just fall off a cliff at the back end of this year, they don't really have any big recruits, do they, next year?
No, I don't believe so.
No?
Taylor, mate.
Please. You know, I have to bite my tongue a bit with this. Just remember I told you I saw Taylor's father-in-law?
No, you didn't tell me this.
You know, I was down in Coogee. I'm not going to go too into depth here because you got to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But I was just in Coogee and I was just grabbing a coffee and this big guy, he goes, "Hey, Braith, like, can I have a word to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. How you going, brother?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, good. And he goes, "I'm Taylor's, I don't know if it's ex-missus or missus, the one they've got the kid with."
Yep.
It's her dad. So the one that was the domestic violence charges were against. So his daughter was the one that's had a kid with Taylor.
Yep.
And had charges against him. And he told me some stories. And like he was shaking when he was talking to me about it. And I don't want to go into detail, but he was telling me stories and I was like, wow. Like if that was my daughter.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I've seen some things on social media.
It's hard for
recently.
me to hear that and then see this and go, wow. Like, are we really? Like, am I missing something?
Yeah.
Is there something I don't know?
Yeah.
You know, like it was, man, I was like, nah.
Well, some things I've seen on social media recently. I know he did the interview with. Did he do it with?
He went to rehab and did all that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. But there's still something that doesn't seem right. And I hope he's in a great headspace. And look, whatever he's done in the past with the missus, I can't speculate or even have an opinion on that.
If you'd heard what I had,
of course, but
I'm going to stay out of it. But I can't.
I just
not mention it.
see.
Wow.
I just see maybe he needs to keep working on himself.
Yeah.
before
He
comes
has
back into
to,
grade,
mate.
and that's a
But
risk.
they're taking a big risk for a player
That's
that
about to
really,
say.
well, he's not guaranteed to be a success. It's a big risk for the Tigers to take. And I know Wayne was looking at him at South. I'm like, guys.
Well, that could be the pressure that Benji's feeling. He's searching for something. The kid can play,
Yeah.
but bringing in someone that might not be healthy
Yeah.
mentally.
I think I've been stung a bit by hearing it from a family member, like hearing
Yeah,
the
of
actual
course.
things. That
Yeah.
stung me. And that probably skewed my opinion of the situation
Yep.
towards not playing him. But I don't really know a lot of the back end story, so I'm
Yep.
not going to go too far into it. But
back to Benj, I just think, I don't think he's under pressure yet. Maybe by next year.
yeah.
And if they don't seem to win more than they if they can't make the 8 next year, that's when
Yeah.
the pressure will start building on him.
And quick touch on Manly and Seibold.
He has to be under pressure.
They got a quality team, mate.
Quality team.
Like they're ones that you look at that's a team you look at the roster and you think they should be going a lot better. No?
Yeah,
Or yes?
absolutely. You're not 16 points up and against Newcastle who's struggling and then throw it away in the second half. So.
Do you think DCE's non-announcement of where he's going is impacting them at all or not?
Everyone knows where he's going.
Yeah. But
Me personally,
Yeah.
if I was in his team, I wouldn't give a shit,
Yeah.
to be honest.
But it's irrelevant. He's not there next year, isn't it?
Yeah, but if he said, if he said he's not going to be there, I don't care where you're going. It's not going to make me play. Oh shit! I had a bad game today because I don't know where DCE is going.
Do you know the only thing they worry about? We're not at 4 Pines.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do the preview.
We can do the preview.
Should we touch on our Unibet predictions last week or wait till the
Yeah.
end?
No,
Should we
no,
wait
no.
till the end?
So how did you go?
Listen to
Hang on. It's just a recap. It's just a recap.
Okay.
We're doing
I think
recap.
I took Melbourne
take the
Storm.
safest bets every week, Tommy Gunn.
Excuse me. Can I just? I know it's your birthday, but we'll blow the candles out at the end.
Grow a
Right?
fucking set of, both of you grow a set of nuts.
So I tipped a $3 multi.
Let's grow a set of nuts as and lose. Let's tip everyone loses, but we're predicting stupid things. But you know what?
How many people would have backed your bet and your bet? I bet none.
What are you talking
Why?
about?
I tipped a $3 double.
You can tell he's never had a bet in his life, eh?
A $3 double.
What a lemon. Hey, get back on your fucking bike and Reedy.
Hang on,
mate. And guess who's back this week? Sam Walker's back too, by the way.
Yeah, I hope he does his knee.
That's terrible.
Oh, that's
Sammy, I love you, mate.
Oh, don't retract your comments.
No.
So hang on.
Can we just go through this or not?
Go through,
Okay,
mate.
so
Does it make you feel better about yourself?
Yeah. No, I should
You
feel
got your
good
bet
already.
right.
So I was
I'm going
Melbourne
to the
Storm 13 plus.
Yes.
Into Brisbane 13 plus.
Who did Melbourne play?
Titans.
Oh, that was
No, was it? No, who'd they play?
One sec.
Who'd they play in Melbourne?
They play
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yeah.
Cowboys,
brave bet,
and I said they bounced
Real
back after
brave.
Origin, and they did, and they won
Brave and
easily
Aston.
13 plus, and then I went Brisbane in the milestone game.
So that was funny.
I missed it. What did
He
you
called
say?
you brave and that stuff.
That's better.
Yeah, that was good.
You're bringing something.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
good. Anyway,
Let's say-
so Brisbane won 13 plus 2.
Yeah.
So
Did you collect? Did you,
Oh, it
you
was
could buy
ching,
dinner with that?
ching,
Ching,
ching.
ching.
It's like fucking
And
Bang.
I'm pretty sure I said that the Dolphins would piss in.
Yeah.
And I think they just won.
yeah.
And Hamaso to score.
Who did Dolphins play?
They play
That was a good bet, though. Wasn't it? That was
Yeah.
brave. I like your one, Az.
It's the same odd, you dickhead.
Oh, was it?
$3 a multi. $3
So you don't
a
like the
multi.
360. You're not happy with $3.60.
No.
Or you?
No,
The
he-
five.
What did you take?
And
Rennie loves a 15 week
Power and
multi.
upset.
Power and upset. That was good, man.
You tipped against your own team.
And you tipped against your own team.
They were in it for 60 minutes.
Fucking double L.
Fucking Panasini could
Oh, so
catch a
hang on.
ball.
So if the Roosters at like the comp went for the game for 60 minutes, they used to be on top of the comp. It's irrelevant.
Fuck's sake, don't get started.
All right, let's get into the preview. Rennie's not happy. We'll move on. It's his birthday. Give him, cut him
That's
some
right.
slack.
Rennie tipped Sam Walker not to play, and guess who's back? Back again.
Guess who's back? Rennie's back from the Goldie. No bullet dealers.
All right.
Let's go through the preview and then we'll do our. What are we going to do with the tips at the end? Are we just doing one tip this week or?
You can tip. I'm tipping 2 try scorers in a double. It's going to add up to about
I'll have a think
$3.
about it while we're doing this.
Okay.
You think about Renato. Yeah,
Tommy, have a think about it for me, would you?
You just think about what won't happen and you tip it.
because you got balls, man. You got balls. You got 21 shots, man. Okay.
right.
You beat Centrelink, mate, by the end of the week.
All right, Shark Park, Cronulla Sharks $1.32 under pressure. St George Illawarra
The
$3.43.
local derby, Shark Park. I'll pick Sharks.
Well, the Sharks, but I said that last week. They got me last week. The Sharks. I thought at home, Warriors have been up for a long time and they just crushed them.
Crushed them.
You can't tip the Dragons at the moment at Shark Park. Like you just can't. I'd say a close game though. Like I'd probably go Dragons with the start. What's the start?
The start is one sec. Back here. The start is 10.5.
Yeah, I'd go the Dragons with the start, but I'm tipping Cronulla.
And then they've got no Euro this week, KO Lillero. That's a big out for them. He's
Suspended?
solid. I think so.
They're vulnerable,
Injured.
Cronulla. They've been shit.
Shit.
Fitzy,
What,
yeah,
like,
well.
what would Fitzy be saying to
I'll be
his squad
filthy.
here?
Yeah, Fitzy's so disciplined, and and works his ass off. Like, you won't find a bloke that works harder. And it wasn't the style in which he played. Now, they kind of mirror his style over the years where they're in every game and they're tough and, they just they didn't have the class to win the big games. But at the moment, they're not even like that on the weekend.
There's been a couple of times, even against the Roosters. I guess they did fight back, but they outclassed.
Big week for them.
Next, all right, next game. We have got Gold Coast Titans up there against Manly. It's a Manly away. So it's $3.62 the Gold Coast Titans and $1.29 Manly away.
I reckon that's good value for the Titans. But again, I'll take Manly. I mean, they're not impacted by Origin, are they now?
No, you're missing Fortawaker, you're missing Tino.
Oh, so no.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Those odds are the right odds now when you think about it.
Manly.
All right. We go up there, Newcastle Knights, $2.82 against the Roosters with a Sam Walker, but no Rob Toyer, $1.43. And they do have the inclusion of Nafahu White.
I would have rested Sam this week.
and I was just
you know what? He's coming off the bench. He's playing 20 minutes. Sandon will start.
And because Toyer's not there, hang on, Braith, can we get a little insight here? I'm pretty sure Dom Young's playing because Toyer's out.
Yeah.
Do they leave him there this week?
Who?
Dom Young, is he at the Knights the following week?
What's happened there?
They just leave him in the sheds,
what happened
shake
to Dom?
hands and
Well,
go?
Do you go into the Roosters dressing rooms?
Occasionally.
Yeah, and you bag this kid all the time.
I do.
Hopefully he doesn't watch.
I don't think his spatial awareness wouldn't even know that I was in the field. He wouldn't even know that I was there.
If I saw you in the sheds and he knew you talk shit about him, I'd absolutely flog you.
Oh, well, to be honest, I don't think he'd even know I was there.
I'm going to send him a clip.
Good, send
Can
it.
you cut up a clip? I'm going to send it straight to Instagram.
Send it to him.
Yeah, they should rest Sam this week. He'll come off the bench. Roosters will win.
Roosters the win.
Roosters will win? Oh, beautiful. North Queensland Cowboys.
You're rattled.
Man, look,
I'm not rattled at all. I did it.
He's going to see Big Dom over his bed at night now.
I've got no issues.
His dreads hitting him on his forehead.
I'm telling you, he would not even know that I was there.
As a week.
What are you saying about me, lad?
He wouldn't know. He's just in his own fucking world, Dom Young.
Oh, he's still going. This isn't.
All right. North Queensland, can you pick up your balls? North Queensland Cowboys, $2.52 against the Dolphins, $1.53.
I love the Dolphins. Hey, last week we said it. I think we all love the Dolphins. I liked them last week too. Like Katoa, Farnwood. Like they got some. Like no. Who they got out? They'll have.
They've got no Hamaso.
But you know what? In years gone by, he's been. If he plays well, they win. If he doesn't, they lose. That I don't see that because Katoa's a freak. And he owns that team now, and he's just like only going to get better. Farnworth just big clutch plays, and he's hard to stop close to the line. Even Nicarima's going really good. Who's their 9? They had Marshall King back last week as well.
And Cowboys are missing like Cotter, Did, and Nanai, Robson.
Yeah. If the Dolphins can get it together and have some consistency and get on a run, they can cause massive upsets if they get to the finals.
Agreed.
I like that. Yeah,
I'll go Dolphins.
Agree. Final game of the round was interesting to see if our man tips against his squad, but out of the court, $2.76 South, Canterbury Bulldogs, $1.45.
Dogs.
This should be a game.
Galvin at 6.
If Latrell was playing, I'd probably go South, but
really?
Just as a bit of an upset. But is Walker named? He went off with his calf in Canberra.
He is not named.
Yeah, no. I think they're too short in the forwards. Or who are they missing out of the pack? They're only missing King, aren't they? Dogs?
Dogs, yeah.
Like, as soon
King and Burton.
As soon as King.
And Man.
No Burton, no Man.
Yeah.
No Crichton.
Again, the system they're in, but they got a new halves pairing, with Galvin, and interesting to see how that does play out. But I think, because Sexton does his job so well, Galvin will have the freedom to play, and he's got more freedom than Burton. He's more on the ball than Burton.
Yeah, true.
So let's just say they're both calling for the ball. Who does Reed pass to?
Mate, it's got to go to Galvin. Mate, Sexton didn't even know he was playing 9 on the weekend. Galvin Mate, Galvin, he's the captain now too, I think.
He's leading him out.
He's captain. He's running out this week. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Galvin.
The Galvinator.
Mate.
I love that. All right, what are your bets, boys?
He's
Let's
on the
go.
board too.
I
mate.
got to think about this.
What do you think? Where are you going, Braith? Where's your
I
bet?
did go the Dogs then, by the way. In the end, I didn't tip South because
You went the Dogs. And you tipping Dogs, yes? Dogs to win?
I'm really. I don't care about my one this week. I'm really excited about Reni's one. Because he's very critical of us and the odds.
I'm gonna give mine to start with.
Okay.
I'm going with Daniel Tupu to score anytime.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going with Ronaldo Mulatalo to score anytime, and that comes to $3.16.
Okay.
Go on, Braith. You go next.
I haven't thought about
Are we
this.
going
to be honest.
anytime try scorers, are we?
Well, I didn't want to tip in the games. I saw that there are two that I think will score.
All right. Which game did I say would be closer than I thought? Was it the Sharks game?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go Dragons with the 10.5.
Dragons, yeah, 10.5 start.
10.5 over the Sharks into the Dolphins 13 plus.
Okay, there we go.
What are the Dogs paying?
The Dogs are $1.45.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go the Dogs to win.
Oh, now you're trying to make up for last week.
Just taking
Imagine you get rolled at $1.45.
Hopefully they love me again.
Galvin will be playing left side, so I'll go anytime. Sherry.
There we go.
Nice work.
There you go, mate. That
Dogs
should be
in
about
the Sherry.
$3.
And you happy with the 3? Or?
Yeah, $3 is fine, mate.
There it is, the 180 podcast. Happy birthday to Reni
Thank
Faintor.
you.
Have a great day, brother.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Happy birthday, people.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.